Hello, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Re-Invigoration. I'm excited to have all of you sitting with me on this beautiful day. I'm actually here visiting Lake Las Vegas, so I'm at Lakeside in a beautiful, beautiful little city. And it's lending a great deal of excited energy for this broadcast. So thank you for joining me wherever you are. I know we're coast to coast this morning, so yay. So the title of our broadcast today is Re-Invigoration. So what does that mean? It's the vigor of our conscious minds and the active participation of our enlightened souls. So we're really present, we're fully present in this experience and coming into this new year where there's a lot of good things in store for us. So in attending the overall arc of 2019, I see a great deal of hope. We're going to be having a strong layer of wellness, of well-being, and a lot of good things. So I'm telling you this so that you will be on the lookout for these good things and be prepared to receive them. So that's the first off item to look forward to. So the main word theme for 2019 that Spirit has been giving me for a few months now is the word resolve. So the word resolve, what does that mean? So there are several meanings as it applies to what will be happening this year and the purpose for this year, and really for us to be at hand on this resolve. So let us better understand it. So the first part of what it means to resolve is to be given to quiet conclusions. Quiet conclusions, okay? So this would be anything that is still lingering, that's unresolved, that needs to be wrapped up. So notice that I'm not talking about dramatic conclusions or painful conclusions or heart-wrenching conclusions. No drama. This is about quiet conclusions. Very simple, very easy, very matter of fact. Nonetheless, bringing those things to a conclusion. So this is the first part of resolve, and the reason being that anything that is lingering and troublesome is going to stand in our way of moving forward in the way that we really need to this year with a great deal of thrust. And so we want to head out the gate with those quiet conclusions. All right, so the next part of this resolve is going to be bold decision making. Bold decision making. So boldness and making plans and making choices and making decisions and standing by them. So no more debates, no more hesitancies, anything that is exact and that requires our action, we must act on. So this is about the bold decision making. Now, anytime in the past that you have been, there's a little bit of trepidation or fear or feeling of insufficiency, we need to just remove all those things from our life. The time is now, today's the day. The time is now, today's the day. So remember that, even put on a little post-it on your mirror. Today's the day, the time is now. All right, so in terms of resolve, we are also talking about powerful places and powerful ways. So you know what? We're graduating from kindergarten. This is graduation. We are moving up. Ready or not, here we go. So powerful places and powerful ways. This means to be bolder when and where we are. We are stepping onto a transition of a decade. So 2010 to 2019 is one channel of evolution. Do you see how 2019 is the year for resolve? Do you see that? We're closing it up now. We've got to get those conclusions taken care of. We've got to be moving with boldness and no more obstructed by fear or whatever it is that lays us flat and incapacitated. In other words, you might say we've got to up our game. Now, there's no fear, there's no worry, there's no scare, there's no panic, there's no rush, there's no pressure. None. Which is partly why I chose to broadcast from this amazing, tranquil, heavenly place. As soon as I come here, I just feel like all is right, all is well. And there's a sweet sense of calm. And I want to convey that to you. And I want to hold you in the space of that. to be well, to relax, to feel good about all things as they are right now in this moment. And with that good feeling of overall sense of wellness, to then strap your shoes on and get moving. Isn't that sweet and joyful? We're just all of us out here taking a walk together around the lake, all of us together, friends, comrades, partners. There's no pressure, there's no worry, there's nothing to get uptight about. We can relax and move forward in this peaceful way. All right, so as we are talking about resolve and all these different aspects of resolve, this year marks the resolve of many movements, the resolve of not just what we're doing or what we're about or what we're having, but the resolve of all things as they are, including our planet. So let us look into the reason why resolve is so important in this 2019. We are at the establishment of a higher dialogue in our human family. So what does this mean, a higher dialogue? The way we're talking to each other, the way we're talking about things, the way we are interpreting, the way we're translating, the way we're interpreting. So 2010, that was the first place where even the thought of this new dialogue first came to be. And we just started to use it. Now it's in wider resonance. And you know this because we're all talking in this way. We're all sharing these kinds of amazing new apertures and opening our awarenesses and our availabilities. This is that new freshening. It's this new dialogue. All right, so now we're at 2019. Let us go to the gateway of 2020 and let us take a look at what exactly are we preparing for? What is this resolve leading to? Why must we resolve? So 2020 will be in full matter and in a beautiful way the new form of this enlightened dialect. I've talked about this before, but I'm going to go into the framework of it a little bit more. Words and phrases will be altered. Meanings will be turned upside down. You know, you've heard that. To turn a phrase, that's going to be literal. The identity, all of our languages, all across the globe, the identity of these languages is under a major reconstruction. So the way that we even think, the thought process leading to the verbal versions, leading to the language and the dialogues and the dialect, the thought processes, pinging those are going to be reconstructed. The whole line of communication from the very first impulse to express is going to have a new pathway. We must be available for that. And so long as we are carrying old stuff that is unresolved, that is untaken care of, that is lingering and crowding the way, we won't be adaptable for this new language, for the new thought process, for the new dialect. And we must be available. We must be adaptable. So be fresh. Freshen that which needs to freshen. Let us be wise in our tunings. Let us be wise in our listenings. Let us be wise in our speech. Let us be wise. Let us be wise overall. We are moving away from the false gray spaces of confusion. We are moving into the symmetry of resolve. The symmetry of resolve. Isn't that beautiful? To have an understanding of what this means for us, what this means to us, I'd like to talk a little about the coming 3 decades. So this will lead us, this information that I'll be sharing with you, is going to lead us into 2049. 2049. So this information is as Spirit has recently shared with me. And the Divine is excited for me to share this with you. And again, I'm just going to give you just a kind of a general pinging, a general feeling of what the next 3 decades will be about, and it will be thematic. All right. So in order for us to make the kind of dramatic turn that we must make, and we know this, we know it in our essence, we know it, this is what we're going to be coming into. So by the year 2029, which is the next decade, the very first next decade, by the year 2029, and all during the next 10 years, there's going to be all kinds of movement, lots of movement that will rattle the globe. This will be social movement. This will be economic movement. This will be spiritual movement. Movement in a huge array, all different kinds of movement. It's going to be a little rattling. Yeah, the noise is going to be fever pitch. We're all going to feel that. However, we've all been practiced and we have knowledge in stillness and how to attain that quietude and centering. We're going to stay close to the divine heart. We're going to be tuning in and tapping in and keeping that lifeline, that line of communication, open and strong during the next 10 years. Now, even though this feels like it was going to be dramatic, the finer hearts of the souls who are seeking with purity are going to be stable and safe. All is good. It's all going to be right. So, among these hearts, those who are seeking with purity, there's going to be a wild new realization, remembering, new attainments, coming into a whole new creative surge with the understanding of who we are, of why we're here, of what we're here to bring, and what is our contribution, and how we relate to one another, and what is our calling and our purpose on this planet. This is going to be like before, let's say there was an invisible piece of paper that we were just grasping at, trying to read what was on it, that information, to grasp that knowledge. Who am I? What's going on? What is this all about? What is the meaning of all of this? Today, we're going to see in that coming decade, it's going to look like black and white on a piece of paper. You will be able to read that knowledge. You will have a clear, visible, tangible understanding of all of those questions and answers. In other words, no more obscurity. It's going to be rapid too. That will be rapid, that coming to that knowledge and understanding. So again, we're talking about resolve, the need for resolve so that we can be available. Now, even the earth in that coming decade to 2029, the earth is going to go through her own resolve, her own passing, in order that she may reconstruct, in order that she may be born anew. So this is all part of the natural process. It's all very natural. Everyone will be participating in it. For the earth, it's going to be like she's removing a cloak, something that's been draping over her, obscuring her glory, and shadowing her beauty. This is going to come away. It's going to fall away. And we will see her as she truly is, and all that glory of creation that we've been missing. We haven't really been readily identifying that. New, it's going to be a new turning of former foundations. Foundations, what does this mean? Foundations of governance, foundations of religion, foundations of social structures, foundations of individual identity. Foundations that are former are going to be falling away. We're already seeing the tumult of this gateway opening now, but it's going to be even more natural, less argumentative, less problematic, more natural. And as you know always, what is the plan of evolution? What is the plan of breakthrough? That old things pass away, that which was and former falls away, to make room for that which is new. See that? There's nothing weird or worrisome about that. It is the way, and we know this intuitively. So, the decade 2020 to 2029, translations. That's the theme, translations. Be aware of your translations. Be mindful of the translations of others, those around you, and on the world stage in general. Be mindful of the translations of our dear planet and her processes, translations, lots of movement. All right, so let's move to the next decade, up to 2039. Sounds weird, doesn't it? 2039. Remember, you'll be writing that in your checkbooks. Okay. This will be the first translations of paradise. This is the decade where we will begin to see the first physical evidences of enlightened communities. We might liken this to Eden, a series of Edens cropping up everywhere. This is where people are empowered by their unity and by their like-mindedness and like-heartedness, and where they have a collective endeavor. This is nothing to fear about losing one's individuality. That cannot be. You could never lose that. That is the power and the strength of collective unity, the individual strength, the individuality, the individual expression, and the individual expansion. All of that is what gives breath and life to the collective expansion. So no, that stays right in place. Up to 2039, these Edens that we are going to see are defined not only by their unity, but also by their possession of unique divine intonations. The kind of dialect they're using, the kind of language they're using, and tones and incantations. This will be the voice of God, and it will bring forth a new way of life. So though we may not have context for this right now, know that we will have a very large context, and so that too will be very natural gateway. By these intonations will they conduct their crops, their social communications. They will conduct their governance. They will conduct their spirituality and their growth. And so will the planet be conducted by these intonations. It will be literally gateways to a way of life. These intonations will be the new foundation. See that? There can't be a new foundation if the old foundation is still in place. We've got to make room. In these higher learnings in these communities, they will also be using the intonations for their navigations. Travel will change, mappings and distances and destinations will change. The way we move from place to place, from part to part, from city to city, from land to land, that is going to change as well. So be available, be adaptable, be ready for that that's coming. This new way of life is the fabric and the template for the new dawn. The template for the new dawn, which will be planetary. See how it begins in a small way, in a small place, by a few people. And so it is. All right, let's go to the next and final decade of this presentation, and that is up to the year 2049. The landscape of the planet is going to be decidedly very, very different. Population is going to be dramatically smaller. 1/4 or 1/5 of our current population is all that will be here. Do not be fearful about this. The new intonations and the new way of life is of such a beautiful and strong and divine vibration that those who could not abide that vibration will choose to leave. And so there again is a natural evolution, is a natural phase, a natural passing. Nothing to be worried about. We will have a new language by the year 2049. This will have taken hold. We will be speaking it, sharing it collectively, gathering in to share our stores of resources. It will be common dialogue, common conversation. The etheric or the primordial histories and aptitudes will be part of our common everyday life, and not so different or weird or strange or only for those outsiders. It will be the common way of life for the planet. So this language that will take hold is a language of light, different from our current broken languages and dialects that are not pure. Also, there will be no community borders. It will be seamless, community to community, borderless and seamless. We will all be in community. All will be in community together, like a family, like linked like a fabric of a family all over the globe. The earth itself, the land, is going to have a new nature. So here is where we see the resolve of matter. So we as people, as conscious beings, now are being asked to resolve. Imagine what it will be like when the very form of matter is resolved. It will become lighter and finer, lighter and finer. Well, this would mean that gravity is going to change, and this is what Spirit is telling me. Our bodies are actually going to be lighter. So let's say instead of 100 plus pounds, you may be 40 pounds. I know that sounds weird, but gravity is going to change as everything is becoming finer and lighter. The mechanics of this world as we know it is going to be altered and adapted. So we as matter will be finer and lighter. Also, hardship as we know it will be no more. The character of conflict will be a memory. Why would that be? Because there will have been resolve. All will have been resolved, and by the new language, the new intonations, the new being, the new grace, everything will be altered and adapted, reconstructed as it were. Finer movements, finer matter, finer life, finer attainments. It's all part of the beautiful navigations of a world's evolution. See that? As we currently live by days and weeks and months as we count them, that too will no longer be. But we will live by 3 tenets: the dawn, the day, the night. The dawn, the day, the night. And we will no longer be counting. There won't be a need to. Age, as we currently perceive it and experience it, will also be altered. As the matter changes finer and lighter, we will be more impervious to the buffetings of the environment and lots of other things, the chemicals and the everything that seeks to compromise the human frame, the human body. So see how it's like a domino effect. When one pivot occurs, it changes a whole series of things. So quite different and new will be this planet. Also, by the year 2049, the veil will have been dissolved. And why will the veil have been dissolved? It is only because of our current relation to matter that there even is a veil. So as the nature of matter begins to change, finer and lighter, necessarily and automatically will the veil fall away. It too is made of matter. See that? And so we, by our instruction, by our self-cultivation of new ways, will conduct the removing of veils. So therefore, our departed loved ones and angels and those who are of the light on the other side will no longer be obscured or seem so distant or be gone, but will walk among us. Friendships, kindreds, we will all be like in community. See that? No borders, no boundaries. We will all be together. And so 3 decades, we will see quite dramatic changes. I hope everyone is feeling the sense of wonder in this broadcast, in this moment, and the sense of kinship and friendship that I offer each one of you. That we will be together, that I will be by your side, that we will walk through all of these next 3 decades together as a family. So do not feel or worry that you'll be alone or that things will be strange. It will happen in a way that is peaceful and serene. And we will be able to abide the transformations and the adaptations. All right, so let us go to the hallmark of Eden. There are what's called gates. These are like new beginnings, like doorways that open. New thoughts create a new way forward. In fact, we're opening a gate right now, okay? The hallmark of Eden means the proper placement of paradise thought seeds. So what does that mean? Eden starts here. Eden starts in us. We are all Eden in embryo. And as we behold and plant those Eden thought seeds, and then move upon them, even just little by little, small and tiny little fragments, big changes will occur. The other thing, the impact of our emotions, of our actions, is going to become greater. Not an ounce for an ounce for a pound, not an inch for an inch for a yard, not a mile for a mile for 100 miles. Our impact will be greater. So, Eden, seed thoughts. As we become more and more Eden, it will soon become our way of life. And then, as it becomes our way of life, so will the nature of the planet change. All of us in harmony in this collective engagement together, including the animals, including the plants and the trees and the waters, including the weather even, the elements, all of us in community together. Earth herself, again, is preparing for this kind of translation. And so we support her. We are her caregivers. I am. So are you. Okay, now, the purpose of Earth. This recent message through the veil took me by surprise. It was very, very intriguing and very humbling and paramount, and I want to share it with you, and it's time, and it's right that you hear it. So the divine shared with me the unique calling of our Earth. Now, we've talked about before that there are other worlds and other planets and other peoples like us, many of them. So what is it that makes this world unique? We are a unique brand of beings. And we are not all of the same origin or the same spirit family. We are actually a unique combination of spirit families on this planet. But here is the point that Spirit shared with me about the unique role of planet Earth, and it's a pretty important one. There is among us on this planet what is called a flagship of beings. These are very, very, very infantile, very novice beings. They are so infantile and so young that they are in fact still part of the darkness. And as it were, that first light was born from a thought in the darkness and then became the gods, which then gave rise to the extension of man and woman and worlds. From the darkness has come a flagship, a very, very young, very new, very early and underdeveloped, I would call them beings. They're not yet lights, but they're here among us. They're like tiny little seeds. We may walk beside them and not know them, but they are truly, truly infantile. And so the experiment is this, that if the brightest inhabitants of our planet, the brightest people here in the world, if the brightest among us will be able to care for and empower these young new ones enough to enable them to become light and break through the darkness on their own, then that action will change the very nature of the darkness itself. And not only that, but will change the nature of what the darkness was. It will actually change the history of the darkness. So I want to share with you the analogy that Spirit gave me, and maybe this will help to make sense of it. So Spirit showed me a bowl of water, and this would represent the darkness. And then you take a teaspoon and you dip it in the bowl of water, and you hold a teaspoon of water out here. So now you have the bowl of water and the teaspoon of water. All came from the bowl of water. Now, if you exact a dramatic change on the teaspoon of water, so that the water in the teaspoon changes its chemistry, as it were, evolves, would that or could that change the nature of the water in the bowl? See that if the nature of the water in the teaspoon changes, would it or can it change the nature of the water in the bowl? Spirit says yes, it can. The teaspoon of water is the flagship. The bowl of water is the darkness. The flagship is here, now, in this world, on this planet, among us today, at this gate. Today, 2019, at this gate. They are here among us. Will we have the brightness, the intelligence, the forthrightness, the courage, the strength, the empowerment, the boldness to extend our light, to move so boldly and with precision in such a way that our light could change the environment around the flagship to such a degree that the flagship will spontaneously ignite and evolve and break free and become new light. It's happened before in the darkness. We have a lot going for us on this planet. We are not a bowl of darkness. We are a community of light, full of love and transcendence. In addition to there being a flagship of very novice, infantile frequencies here, that is very, very small, by the way, there is a large populace alive on this planet who came from celestial worlds, beings who lived in ways of trust and beautiful companionhood and wise enlightenment and great learnings and great knowledge. And many of those beings who were on those celestial planets are here and have agreed to plant themselves on this planet, in this world, to help create the turning of the flagship. So as you see, in addition to those two groups, and there are others, but all of it, every single brand of being on this planet is here for one purpose, to change the nature of what the darkness was. Since the light has been evolving, there has always been a tug, like a rubber band, that is the darkness pulling it back and keeping it from expanding at the rate that it would like to. By the evolution of this planet, we can change that. We can change the history of the darkness so that the light will be free to expand and grow at the rate it desires to, which will impact all the worlds, which will impact all the light. And so, my friend, the honor student that you are, ready up, be in place, be sure, be strong, you are, be bold, you can be wise, be fresh, and I invite you to come with me. Let us make this happen. Blessings to you in the new year. And so it is, full of grace. Thank you.